What is that verse in Arabic? وَلَقَدْ أُوحِيَ إِلَيْكَ وَإِلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكَ لَإِنْ أَشْرَكْتَ لَيَحْبَطَنَّ عَمَلُكَ. That it has been revealed to me and to those before me. Which verse is Surah Nahl, I think? It's in Surah Nahl. That it has been, Allahu A'lam, Surah Nahl. It has been revealed to me, inspired to me, and to those that came before me, all of the prophets, that if you commit shirk with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then all of your good deeds will be in vain. Understand this point, realize it, understand it. No matter how good a person does, if he died a Christian, or a Jew, or an atheist, or a Hindu, or any other religion, or even a quote-unquote Muslim but doing shirk, worshipping graves, worshipping idols, and he calls himself a Muslim, then all of his good deeds will be in vain. No matter how many poor people he helped, no matter how many orphanages he built, no matter how much he fasted and prayed, all of his good deeds will be in vain. So this is the second thing. That the dangers of shirk are so bad, are so evil, that it pales, all of your good deeds, they pale in comparison to the evil of shirk. Okay? The third thing is that whoever commits shirk, Allah has made Jannah haram for him. Okay? And we already mentioned the hadith of this, right? Is that, did we mention this hadith? I think we did, right? That whoever, no we didn't. It's the next chapter. That whoever commits shirk, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made Jannah haram for him. We mentioned this in the last chapter. Whoever commits shirk, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made Jannah haram for him. أَنَّهُ مَنْ يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدْ حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ الْجَنَّةِ. This is a verse in the Quran. That whoever commits shirk with Allah, then Allah has made Jannah haram for him. This is the third consequence of shirk. That a person who commits shirk, and he dies on this state of shirk, he will never, ever, ever, ever be able to enter Jannah. Whereas a person who dies without committing shirk, no matter how evil he was, eventually he will be able to enter Jannah, like we described in the last chapter. The fourth consequence of shirk, and this is obviously a follow-up of the third one, is that he will eternally be damned to the fire of hell. Never, ever, ever will he be able to leave the fire of hell. And this is what the Prophet is saying in this hadith, is that whoever dies and he is calling other than Allah, and as we will learn, calling other than Allah is a type of shirk. You call out to a saint, or you call out to a dead person, or even if you call out to a living person and he cannot hear you, you think that living person, for example, right now he might be in another continent, but you call out to him, oh so-and-so, save me from what I'm in, save me from the troubles that I'm in. This is shirk, and this is major shirk. So the Prophet said, whoever dies while he is calling to other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will enter the fire of hell, meaning that he will never ever be exited from it. So do you understand the dangers of shirk now? These four things here. What is the first point? Who can recall them? Shirk itself is the only unforgivable. Add the word only. It's the only unforgivable sin. Every other sin can be forgiven. The second consequence of shirk, all of your other good deeds. Just like, for example, okay, let me give you an example. Some of you might wonder, how can all of your good deeds be in vain? Suppose a person, he murdered 50 people or 100 people, okay? And now he comes to court, and the judge is about to sentence him. He will say, hey, you can't sentence me to the chair. I gave $10 in charity, you know? Is the judge going to accept that from him? No, because the evil of what he has done is so great that even if he gave $10 in charity, it's useless. So do you understand now the evil of shirk is so great that if a person spent his whole life doing good, a whole 1,000 years if you like, because some people they did live 1,000 years in the past, you know, a whole 1,000 years of doing good, giving, you know, giving food to the people, giving them money and clothes, and being good to mankind and being good to himself, but he was committing shirk. In other words, he's calling Jesus Christ, or he's calling another God, or he's calling a false saint, or worshipping another deity. If a person commits shirk, then no matter all that good that he has done, it pales. It's insignificant in comparison to the evil of shirk. So this shows you in and of itself, I think it's getting rather cold. This shows you in and of itself the dangers of shirk. That when a person's whole life and his whole deeds are all going to go to waste. What was the third point? Jannah is haram for him. He can never enter Jannah. And obviously the fourth point, which is a logical consequence of the third one, is he will be eternally damned to the fire of hell. So this shows you the dangers of shirk, and it reinforces in you the concept of Tawheed, the importance of Tawheed. When we understand the dangers of shirk, automatically we are reinforced in the blessings and the benefits of Tawheed. Now the last hadith.
Muslim reports from Jabir radiallahu anhu that Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Whoever meets Allah, not having associated anyone with Him in worship, shall enter paradise. And whoever meets Him having committed shirk in any way will enter the hellfire.
Once again, the same concept, the same theme over and over again. Whoever meets Allah without committing any shirk will enter Jannah. Now we already said there are various levels of entering Jannah. You can enter Jannah without even reckoning, and that's the highest level. Okay? Which means that you're going to enter Jannah without hisab. And these are the 70,000 people. Okay? You can enter Jannah after going through the reckoning and without going through the fire of hell. And this is a lower level. And you can also enter Jannah eventually, which means go through the fire of hell, and we seek Allah's refuge from that. Go through the fire of hell, purify the sins that a person has done, and then he will enter Jannah. And the only one that will do that is the one who has the slightest amount of Tawheed. Now the point is that in this hadith, once again the Prophet ﷺ summarizes this concept for us, is that whoever dies in a state of Tawheed without committing shirk with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will enter Jannah. And whoever dies in a state of shirk while associating partners with Allah will enter the fire of hell. And again, the summary of this chapter is that when we realize the dangers of shirk and how evil shirk is that a person's whole life will be in vain if he was a mushrik. All of his good deeds will be in vain if he was a mushrik. Then and only then will we understand the importance of Tawheed. Because Tawheed and shirk are opposites. You cannot have Tawheed except by staying away from shirk. And this is why our kalima is based on La ilaha illallah, negation and affirmation. There is no God except Allah. You cannot have Tawheed except when we avoid shirk. And likewise, you cannot fall into shirk except when we reject Tawheed. There are two opposites. A person cannot have Tawheed and shirk at the same time. No human being can combine Tawheed and shirk at the same time. Because Tawheed means it must be 100% pure. A person cannot worship Allah 99.999% of the time, and then 0.0001% of the time he worships another thing. No, it cannot be like that. If a person, he prays his 5 prayers, and he goes for Hajj, and he does this, and he does that, and yet he believes that you can call other gods, this is shirk. Even if he doesn't call that other God. Even if in his whole life he doesn't call out, not necessarily a God, but many of the people today, they call out on saints, quote-unquote walis, quote-unquote religious people that are dead. Oh Abdul Qadir al-Jilani, oh so-and-so, oh Chpt2, oh Mu'in al-Chpt2. This is the essence of shirk. If a person believes that you're allowed to even call them, even if he never called them, this is shirk. And his whole life will be in vain. So we have to understand the dangers of shirk. And I'd like to point out 2 things. Firstly, if I remember them, concerning the hadith of the 70,000 people, right? I forgot to mention, in one narration, the Prophet ﷺ prayed to increase this number. He prayed to increase this number. So, he was then told that for every 1,000, you will have another 70,000. In other words, 70,000 people enter Jannah without hisab, without reckoning. So, the Prophet ﷺ prayed to increase this number, so it was increased. So he was told that for every 1,000 of these 70,000, there will be another 70,000. So how many total are there? Let's see who's quick in math. Huh? What did you say? No. 490,000, no? Huh? Each 1,000 gives you 70,000. So how much is that? Come on, guys. There's some college graduates amongst you, man. Simple multiplication. Okay, look. For every 70,000 are going to enter Jannah without hisab, okay? So for every 1,000, there are another 70,000. How many thousands are in 70,000? Come on, guys. How many thousands are in 70,000? Just 70, exactly. There are 70. So multiply 70 by 70,000. How much do you get? 4.9 million. Add the original 70,000. 4.9 million, 70,000. Yeah. So this is the total amount. And obviously, inshallah, it's more than what the original number was, but still it's very little. Because, roughly 5 million, okay? So the Prophet is saying that only 5 million people will enter Jannah without hisab. Okay? Now you think that's a big number. Again, put this into place. Okay? In our times, there are supposedly 1 billion Muslims. Add all the Muslims since the time of the Prophet ﷺ, and all the Muslims that will appear to the Day of Judgment. Allah knows how many there are going to be. 10, 20, 30, 100 billion. Allahu A'lam. Allah knows. Only Allah can count this number, and Allah knows this number. Okay? Of these, only a few million are going to enter paradise. without hisab, not enter paradise, without hisab. In other words, they'll reach that level.